everyone, this is Fuad from the Opalwave team, and I would like to welcome you to this web demonstration of the Opalwave BPC Cloud Consolidation application powered by SAP BPC and SAP HANA. The first step guides the consolidation manager through the process of inputting currency conversion rates, ownership percentages and methods, as well as the carry forward of opening balances. The second step guides a local subsidiary finance manager through the process of GL data loading, validation, adjustment and locking, as well as the intercompany matching, so that all the necessary accurate data is loaded to the system prior to the final consolidation. The third step shows the final tasks necessary to consolidate all this data, including the eliminations and adjustments, prior to the final production of a suite of IFRS-ready financial statements. So if you're ready, let's begin. The user's entry point to the consolidation application are the predefined business process flows available from the SAP BPC web interface under the My Activity tab. The full consolidation business process flow will guide end users through the process of consolidation depending on their respective security settings and tasks allocation. A consolidation manager, for example, will have access to all the entities and will be able to define currency conversion rates and ownership percentages, while the finance manager of a local subsidiary will only have access to its own entity data and to specific tasks in the business process flow. After selecting the first step in the business process flow for inputting exchange rates, input ownership and validate equity opening, the different tasks for this step or chapter will be open for usage. Let's click on Exchange Rate Input Form to open the web-based input form for currency conversion rates. The conversion rates entered are based on a base currency. This currency must have a conversion rate equal to 1 for all rate types. The choice of this base currency is not related to the consolidation currency. In this example, we have used GBP, but you can choose any currency to be the base currency. The currency conversion calculation in SAP BPC is designed to handle currency conversion using average, closing, dividend and incoming rates depending on the account nature defined by an account property called rate type, as well as calculating the currency translation adjustments needed for the balance sheet. I will be inputting the currency conversion rates from US dollar to pounds for December 2015. After inputting all rates necessary for a specific period and a specific category, click on Save Data and let's go to the next step, which is to enter ownership information. This selection links you to an input template showing the equity accounts in the balance sheet in both local and reporting currency. It is used to input or validate the equity converted opening balance amounts, which will be the base for the historical rate conversion as required in the IFRS standards for the equity accounts in the balance sheet. Let's click on Input or Validate Equity Opening in Group Currency to open the Excel-based input schedule for the equity conversion. I'm interested in checking the information for entity E001, and I will be validating the closing equity figures from the prior year, being 2015 December, which is my prior year end. input the equity accounts in their respective reporting currencies. Ensure that the foreign currency translation reserve before tax account is also inputted with its correct value, which should equal to the difference between the total equity accounts converted at closing rate minus the same accounts converted at their historical rates. Once you've finished all the tasks in the first activity, you can click on the Complete button followed by OK to ensure the next activities can start for the finance users in charge of loading their trial balances to the system. The Ownership Manager allows you to easily define the consolidation method and the ownership of a specific entity within a consolidation scope. In this demonstration, the top of our consolidation hierarchy is Group GBP Conso. There are also sub-consolidation levels such as International A Conso, International B Conso, and UK Conso, which can be customized as per your requirements. A consolidation manager benefits from the flexibility of inputting ownership information, which makes it extremely easy to model what-if scenarios around increasing ownership stakes or adding, removing companies from the consolidation scope. Let's start by selecting Group GBP Conso and then click on the Add button. I will select the company from the list found in the Member selector, which is populated either from a source system or an application administrator. In our case, I will select Entity Europe 2 in euros to be consolidated at 100% into Group GBP Conso. Click on the entity that you added on the left-hand panel and adjust the current figures for the percentage of consolidation, percentage of control, and percentage of ownership. After inputting all the necessary information for a specific period and a specific category, click on Save Data. You can also use the Copy To button on the top panel to copy the inputted figures into a different category and time period. You are now ready to go to the next step, which is to run the carry forward of the opening balances package. Before we load data for the current month, we need to carry forward the opening balances from the prior last year closing position. This process could be automated to run on a yearly basis or run on demand. In order to get started with this activity, we first have to click on the Run Carry Forward Opening Balances icon. As a result, a package will open where I will select the appropriate members in the available dimensions. In our case, we are going to select Actual for the category and December 2015 for time, and leave C_entity and RPT currency as default. The opening balances figures will be used to calculate currency translation on accounts converted with a historic rate, as well as calculating variations with the ending balances, which will be needed for cash flow reporting. After the package is run, You may validate its completion by clicking on View Status and ensuring that the status is set as successful in the package log. After selecting the second step in the business process flow for data load, manual entry of trial balances, IC matching and manual adjustments, the different tasks for this step will be opened for usage. The GL data upload and import into SAP BPC consists of two major steps. First, I will click on Upload Data File to upload a copy of the GL trial balance extract so that it is stored on a shared folder inside the BPC Cloud server. The second step is to import this data into the BPC Cloud database. This will be performed when clicking on the Run Data Upload task, which will open the SAP BPC Data Manager wizard, which will guide users through the process of loading data. It is important to note that the SAP BPC Data Manager is part of the SAP BPC Unified Solution and not a separate data loading tool. Users also have access to view the file before loading it by going to the data preview and checking for the structure of the data file. The file we are loading is a typical flat file output. The account code is in column 1. Most customers bring in data from multiple source systems. Users have access to work with the mapping files for their own unique chart of accounts. The Data Manager import package will pick up both the GL data extract as well as a transformation file which will tell SAP BPC how to map each element of the extract into readable SAP BPC data. After running the import package, you will need to choose a specific file from your list of uploaded data files as well as a transformation file. You can check the validity of your import by simply clicking on the View Status button, where we have an audit trail of all packages that are run, giving details by package, user and time. After data is loaded successfully into SAP BPC, we then have the ability to review and amend it using the Input Local Data Adjustment input schedule. After I click on the Input Local Data Adjustment icon, it will open an input template where the selections for entity, time and category members will be derived from the context of the business process flow. In our case, we will be using E001 for entity, 2015 December for the time member, and actual for the category member. After we verify that this selection is correct, we will click on the Refresh Workbook button to update the data on the other tabs of the workbook. Controls provide an organization the means to enforce their rules surrounding a process. In a consolidation process, rules such as the balance sheet being in balance, roll forwards tying out, and the proper reporting of statistical information are all common requirements. These validation rules can be utilized across different financial processes. The Data Consistency tab enables you to check the validity of the data for the entity, time and category combinations previously selected. We need first to make sure that the balance sheet opening and closing balances are zero. Net income in the P&L must equal to the profit and loss for the year in the balance sheet. And finally, the opening position of balance sheet accounts plus the movement is equal to the closing balance of those same accounts. In the Data Edge PL tab, we can make the necessary adjustments to our P&L by inputting the required data in the Local Adjustment column and then click on the Save Data button. In the Data Edge BS tab, you can reallocate the data in the F15 non-allocated data flow to its respective flow for each account, as well as making adjustments to the balance sheet amounts if necessary. In our example, we will reallocate the data found in F15 for the accounts A11110 A11210 and A11310 to their respective flow, which is increase in depreciation, followed by a click on the Save Data button. The consolidation process typically begins with an intercompany matching process. The latest trend we are seeing in the industry is for organizations to move towards a more frequent, real-time intercompany reconciliation process. In some cases, companies are moving towards a daily matching process. In others, they start the reconciliations a few days prior to the end of the month. Regardless of which approach fits your organization best, SAP BPC delivers an intercompany matching process that provides packaged application capability which can be configured to your specific requirements. Let's click on the Open Local Matching Reports icon found in the BPF. It will open a template where you have to select C_entity, time, category, and RPT currency members. In our case, we are going to choose E001 and leave others as they are. This report allows you to check and compare all the intercompany accounts on a local level between the selected entity in the menu tab and all other entities. For balance sheet accounts, for example, receivables versus payables, and for profit and loss accounts, for example, interest income versus interest expense. Let's now click on the Open Group Matching Reports icon found in the BPF. It will open a template where you have to select RPT currency, time, and category. In our case, we are going to leave them as GBP 2015 December and actual respectively. This report allows you to check and compare all the intercompany matching accounts on a group level between all entities. For detailed balance sheet accounts, for example, other receivables current, gross, versus other payables current, dividend paid versus dividend received, and for detailed profit and loss accounts, for example, interest income versus interest expense. The local matching template enables local subsidiary finance managers to check and match their intercompany data without having to go back to the head office for a matching report, thus ensuring that monthly financial close times are decreased. The group matching report gives the consolidation manager in the head office function the ability to review in one report all intercompany mismatches for all entities for which he is responsible. This input schedule allows you to adjust the intercompany accounts after you have checked intercompany data accuracy using the local and group reconciliation reports in the previous steps. By clicking on Insert Member after selecting a specific row in the input schedule, you may select a specific account and an intercompany partner for which you would like to make an adjustment. This adjustment, after being saved to the database, will automatically be pushed to the intercompany model so that the data matching process can happen in real time. As a finance manager of a local subsidiary, after I've loaded my GL trial balance, validated the data, and ensured that my intercompany information is correct, I will need to modify the work status of my entity, time, and category combination so that the data previously loaded is now locked for review. As the E001 Entity UK Company Manager, I have completed all the steps in the process I am responsible for. I will then click on the Modify Work Status icon, which enables me to change the work status of the entity I am responsible for from Unlocked to Submitted. At this point, the Group Consolidation Manager will need to review all information submitted to determine if the reconciliations I have completed and the data provided are sufficient. Once I have finished all the tasks in the second activity, I will then click on the Complete button followed by OK to ensure the next activities can start for the Consolidation Manager in charge of running the consolidation process and producing the financial statements. After selecting the final step in the BPF, Run Consolidation and Produce Financial Statements, different tasks for this step will show. I will now click on Run Consolidation Package, which encompasses the following calculations. First of all, it will consolidate all the data under a specific scope in the reporting currency. It will then post all the automatic intercompany elimination entries, calculate the financial statements, which are Statement of Comprehensive Income, Statement of Changes in Equity and Statement of Cash Flow, as well as producing the P&L and the balance sheet. We will select the category, scope and time for which we want to run the consolidation for. In our demo, we'll select Actual, scope which is S_UK, and the time 2015 December respectively, and click on Run Package. It is to be noted that this package can also be scheduled to run at specific time intervals. Once the package runs, I will click on View Package Status to ensure the calculations happened without any error. The previous consolidation package will automate a series of consolidation eliminations depending on a set of predefined IFRS-ready business rules. Any non-automated elimination will need to be booked using the SAP BPC Journal template. We can also customize the SAP BPC business rules within your environment in order to automate all the consolidation journals you may have, depending on your data and chart of accounts. When I create a journal entry, I should first select an audit trail, category, reporting currency, time and scope from the header. The description field is optional, but it is recommended to use for easier identification of particular journals. In our example, we will type manual adjustments as a description for our newly created journal entry. In addition, we may choose several other options for the journal entries: balanced journal, reopen journal in the next period, auto-reverse journal, and multiple headers, allowing multiple member selection for header dimensions. In our case, we will choose other receivables and other payables. Entity UK1, F20 for the flow, and I none as an intercompany partner. We will debit other receivables with an amount of 500 and credit other payables with an amount of 500. We'll then click on Save to save the journal, Post to post the journal so that the data is reflected in the BPC database. The OpenWave BPC Cloud offers a wide range of reports that can be used to view, analyze, and publish standalone as well as consolidated financial statements. These reports are divided into 5 types: financial statements, analysis reports, breakdown reports, control reports, and BPC Cloud Process Template. I will start by selecting the number 10 Financial Statements Book Report. Choose UK as the C entity member, 2015.12 as the time member, Actual as category, GBP for the reporting currency, and S_UK as the scope, and I will click on the Refresh Workbook button. In this workbook, we will see commonly used standard IFRS ready financial statements. We will see the statement of profit and loss, the statement of financial position, the statement of other comprehensive income, the statement of cash flow. We may also have a look to the notes to the financial statements, where we can find additional notes and disclosures. As an accountant, the most important task is to ensure my data is correct in each closing period, and that is done by using a variety of audit and analysis reports that facilitate and enhance the reviewing process. For example, Balance Sheet by Flow/Audit ID allows me to view the impact of eliminations by account, by flow, and by nature. SAP BPC comes with an intuitive, user-friendly Excel interface, which enables us to create our own reports using the EPM Excel add-in. Once you have finished all the tasks in the third activity, you can now click on the Complete button, followed by OK, to ensure that all the activities in this specific BPF template are now complete and final. This will mark the end of the consolidation process for the current period.